ABH3 Hayley Craig from Jeffersonville, Indiana.
What's your position aboard the ship?
I work in the hangar bay.
How does it feel to be recognized for your firefighting efforts?
It's pretty mind blowing. I didn't ever expect anything like this to happen. I don't think anybody did, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to get to speak for my shipmates and everybody that was involved in trying to take care of this mess.
How did the crew react when called upon to save the ship?
Above and beyond. Everybody, all the way, like, there's not a single person, I don't think, that didn't have a hand in trying to rectify this situation. And everybody should be proud of themselves.
Can you describe your personal firefighting efforts?
So I got called in that night to relieve the people who were initially here for duty section when it happened. And I was just involved in going in. And the first night we couldn't really do anything. So the rest of the time has just been finding hot spots, making sure the Fed fire guys knew where they were going, cooling things, and then the ventilation and stuff like that.
What has the response been from the Navy and the community?
I know that civilians and everybody have been just an overwhelming amount of support from people who don't even have, service members in their family that wanted to help, donations and things like that. And then Big Navy coming down and showing their support and thanking everybody on the ship that's a big deal.
What advice would you give to a shipmate who's never fought a fire?
Trust your training. Pay attention when they give that DC training, because you might not think that, oh, nothing like this could ever happen to me, but it can. And it did. Crazy things happen, and you need to be ready for that. So for someone who's never fought a fire, you don't think, you have the skills to, you need to hone in on them and get ready, because anything can happen.
Is there anybody that you'd like to thank or recognize?
The whole crew. Everybody from the captain all the way down to some guys that might have just got here last week and, have no idea what's going on. But everybody, all hands. There's not a singular person who was responsible for making sure that this was okay. It was everybody played a part, and everybody worked to the best of their abilities to take care of the situation.
Is there any stories from that day that you'd like to share?
I remember the first night that we were here, sitting down on the because we couldn't go in; it was so hot in the well decks, and that we were all suited up and ready to go in, and we looked up, took our masks off, and looked up, and you could see the aft mast fall, and that's when I realized, like, this is a lot worse than any of us thought it was. And then that I was here for one of the last explosions, and when that happened, that was also like that shook everybody. But those are the two that are probably gonna stay with me.
DC2 Garvin. I'm a work center soup of Euro 4 in our division.
How does it feel to be recognized for your firefighting efforts?
It feels good to be recognized for doing what I've been trained to do over the years. However, I couldn't have done it alone. So the recognition, yeah, I may be here, but my teammates and my shipmates are who really need the recognition.
How did the crew react when called upon to save the ship?
The crew reacted just as how I would expect them to. They did exactly to a T what they're trained. And from there, we combated a casualty that seemed impossible at the time and overcame those odds.
That morning and your firefighting efforts?
So that morning, I had just go into a normal morning routine for a Sunday. Decided to sit down, got a phone call, and the phone call was for black smoke. As soon as I heard black smoke, I ran. And my firefighting efforts to try to combat, isolate, investigate, was pushed back. And that's when I summoned my team and the rest of the Bonhomme Richard that day to take care of business.
What has the response from the Navy and the community been like?
The response from the Navy's been overwhelming. I feel that they have put a lot of spotlight on us, and they're going to use us not only as an example moving forward, but to better the Navy as a whole. The community outreach has been great as well. Seeing all those products flood in to help us while we stay here day in and day out shows me that the San Diego community still believes that this is a naval city, and it's really awesome to see.
What advice would you give to a shipmate who's never seen a casualty like that?
Slow down, breathe, and move past whatever you think is impossible. It's not impossible to overcome. It's just a temporary setback.
For anything?
Always read up. There's never any downtime. If you have downtime, you have time to study, you have time to understand. So the more that you can understand, the better you'll be in a situation such as this. You'll be more relaxed because you know the answer. You don't have to think about the answer. So just utilize your downtime and make sure that the study process is exactly what it should be, is studying and understanding.
Is there anybody that you would like to thank or recognize?
DC-3 Hawkins, he was on board with me that day. He acted in such a manner that was not of a third class, but of someone that was senior to that. And his response time and his ability to help take orders and keep moving forward was exactly what the Navy needs in a sailor. So I'd like to shout out to him and thank him for what his help was for me to do my job. He made it easier.
Are there any stories that you have from that day?
Just watching my shipmates pour out and fight to go back in and be ordered to go home. Something that I've never seen before is to be ordered to go home and reordered and told over and time again to stop fighting the ship because they were so tired, but they didn't want to lose their home, their workplace, and something that they've grown over the years. Some of us 4 or 5 plus years grown to know as that's ours. So that's pretty cool to see. And that's something that I will tell everyone from the time on in my Navy career that, you know, I've seen sailors who have fought time and time again just to help out, even if it was minimal, from bringing water to somebody to going back in the 12th time. That was just really cool to see.
I am Lieutenant Junior Grade Bernardo Tinoco from Dallas, Texas, and I'm the S8 Division Officer on board Bonhomme Richard.
How does it feel to be recognized for your firefighting efforts?
Being recognized for my firefighting efforts is a little uncomfortable, as I know that hundreds of us did the exact same thing to try to save our ship, but understanding that there's a story to be told on board, I try to deal with it and speak accordingly.
How did the crew react when called upon to save the ship?
When the crew was called upon to save the ship, it really touched home with me. It really made me emotional. I had to take a couple of breaks because time and time again you hear about talks of generations and how they've changed, but if anything was shown starting on Sunday is that I would go to general quarters and set battle stations with any one of these men and women on this ship because all we were focused on was saving our ship and taking care of our home. So I really struggle with the emotions of pride that were reflected and shown that day and continue every single day thereafter.
Can you describe your firefighting efforts?
So my firefighting efforts varied from reconnaissance to dewatering, fighting fires, and we even took the time to establish a khaki action response team to really go and investigate areas of concern to better care for our ship and try to get to the resolution sooner than later.
What has the response been like from the Navy and the community?
The response from the Navy and the community has been mesmerizing. Just every single day that we've struggled and ended 12-hour shifts, 24-hour shifts, and to be able to come home to donations as far as Temecula from the community just trying to take care of our sailors, it really made the fight easier. It really made us feel like this was indeed one team, one fight. Not just Navy, civilians, the city of San Diego, everyone just came together, put everything else to the side, and really tried to help us take care of our ship. It meant a lot. It really did.
What advice would you give to a shipmate who has never fought a fire?
The advice that I would give to a shipmate that's never fought a fire is trust your training. You can get overwhelmed with the situation. You can definitely get caught up in the moment. It's easy and it's okay to be scared. But to be able to reflect on the training from boot camp or firefighting training that you attend really will help you focus on the task at hand and be able to work with your shipmates to accomplish what needs to be accomplished. So I would definitely say trust your training and don't say, I've never been in a fire before, because we've set you up for success. Just trust that.
Is there anybody that you'd like to thank or recognize?
If I could stop and thank or recognize anyone, I would say CSCM Francisco Ramirez, BMC Karina Gasca, even our commanding officer. These are the two, Master Chief and the Chief that I mentioned, checked on me and have checked on me from day one to include, hey, how's your crew doing? And that really means a lot when you're struggling. I've struggled multiple times, but for our captain, who I feel is the most above reproach commanding officer I've ever served, first one in, one of the last ones out, to really try to reciprocate that same commitment to him, I really appreciate everything he stands for and what he's done for our crew.
Are there any stories that you had from that day or the several days?
One of the stories that I have from that day is sitting in front of the theater with RS3 Win and just watching him as he looked over his shoulder, and he shared with me that this is his home and it has been his home for 5 years. From that conversation, when asked, I've been asked multiple times, how do you do it? How do you go in and day out? What motivates you? Honestly, stories like those of RS3 Win is the reason why I push past my emotions, push past my physical burdens, and try to bust my butt to get in there and save our ship. Captain John Paul Jones said it, I have not yet begun to fight. And every single man and woman on Bonhomme Richard resonates that exact same sentiment, and that's what motivates me and pushes me. RS3 Win and sailors just like that, who actually call this home.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I just really appreciate the United States Navy, the support from the community and everyone around Bonhomme Richard as we struggle with the situation at hand. Just thank you very much for your support, and we truly, truly appreciate it.